You're looking at some of the best in the business right there. That is our control room. Yeah, you guys, throw it up. There you go. Let them know. Let them know. That's some of the best in the business. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate the good work that you put in to put us on the air every single day. We're getting ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Obviously, all eyes will be on the Fed today, which is expected to cut interest rates. We, of course, will be covering that for you throughout the day. In the meantime, here's a look at our big board. The Dow, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq all in the green. In fact, the entire board is in the green at the moment. Hopefully, it stays that way. And for those of you investing, it is going to be a very positive day of investments for you. Again, we'll take you to New York for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange here in short order. But first, let's get you over to David Brody. David, good morning.
Good morning, T. Bates. All right, time now for our daily dose of dollars and common sense. That means American Sunrise Early Edition host Jake Novak is with us. He is the guy behind Jake's Takes Substack as well. All right, Jake. So we're all waiting for this meeting between President Trump and President Xi Jinping tomorrow. Business will obviously be top of the agenda. What should we be looking for? There's a lot of layers here.
Yeah, this has been, to me, the last couple of years in the markets, this incredible rally really should be renamed the Nvidia rally. And of course, there's some things that President Trump has done to make that rally go as well. Obviously, he's a pro-business president. But they're going to talk about Nvidia tomorrow. Now, this is something that we didn't know they were going to be talking about until pretty much relatively recently, maybe even just a few hours ago. And Nvidia is up another 3% this morning. David, Nvidia is about to be worth $5 trillion with the T dollars. And when you get the major world leaders talking about you, you know you're going to get even more valuable. Basically, AI is really pushing this market higher. We're trying to make sure that China doesn't get ahead of us on this. While still trying to support a company. And we don't want to bankrupt our companies while we try to protect certain vital technology. And so that's going to be a big part of the discussion. I think people should watch this very carefully because, you know what, your 401k, your IRA, whether you like it or not, is very much tied into Nvidia. I wish it weren't the case. I wish it were more diversified. But that's just the bald truth there.
And there's some concern about Trump in terms of what he's going to do with China on Nvidia as it relates to AI and, China. We can't trust them as far as we can throw them. So, help me through that a little bit.
It's such a difficult tightrope. You're right. Like, we don't want China to get access to this super cutting edge technology, which even we don't have complete control over. At the same time, we also don't want to bankrupt our companies. They need that Chinese market, a lot of them, to continue being profitable. And let me tell you something. If Nvidia has a real sell-off, which they kind of did a little bit in April, everyone was blaming Trump for the sell-off in April. It was actually Nvidia selling off over reports that someone was making cheaper products than they were that was just as good. And that turned out to be baloney. A Chinese company, by the way. That turned out to be baloney, and the markets threw more money at Nvidia. So this is a difficult tightrope. We want to protect our vital industries, just like we want to protect our rare earths. We want to protect our defense industry and our tech. At the same time, we don't want to bankrupt our companies. So what do? And the best thing that we can do is basically try to find a way to keep these companies selling some stuff, even to our enemies. I mean, it's some basic stuff that won't endanger America. And I think that the list of those things is getting shorter. It's a very, very tough order. I'm glad President Trump, as a businessman, is the one making these deals. At least he's not going to be going in there blind. But I don't envy him and his administration this task. It's not easy. And anyone who says it is really not being honest with the American people.
Jake, what about trade between China and the United States? Do you expect any breakthrough at all, or do you think this is going to be incremental? I mean, how do you see this happening? And when I say trade, there's so many tentacles to the potential trade deal too, and the trade-offs as it relates to what he can get regarding some of the fentanyl production that's coming out of China from a tax standpoint.
Yeah, well, this one is an easy answer for me. I got one word for you: roller coaster. We're not going to have any permanent deals with China. It's always going to be up and down. I think there'll be about a 3-month, it'll be a quarterly thing that goes back and forth. I'm just seeing right now that China just made its first purchase of American soybeans in a very long time. That's great. But that's not going to continue. It's going to go back and forth. China will push and pull us in a tug of war type situation that never ends, like the old Battle of the Network Stars. By the way, Gabe Kaplan, best captain of the tug of war team there ever was. But that's not that's for our older viewers. But honestly, it's not anything that you can really rely on. When you see these reports of, the trade war is over, or the trade war is never going to end. No, it's just going up and down and up and down and up and down. And China is fine with yanking our chain because, This just in, it's not a democracy. They don't have to care what their people think, and so they can play these incredibly mercurial games all the time.
I'm sorry. Did you just reference Gabe Kaplan as in Welcome Back Kotter fame? Is that what you just did?
He's a Renaissance man, David. Not a great athlete, a great poker player, by the way, a great investor, and a star of a really lousy sitcom. But, that was the 70s. Everyone was on downers, so who knows what was funny out of it.
Oh, I'm still thinking about Horseshack. All right, Jake, you mentioned briefly yesterday about how important the UPS earnings report was. All right, so tell us why we should care more about that than those government economic reports that, of course, you love so much, Jake.
Yeah, because the government economic reports don't have to be right. The people are going to get paid whether they are right or wrong about them. UPS needs to be right about things. And UPS had crazy good profits for that June through September period. And I'm sorry, folks, you can't have a strong economy in America without UPS doing well and vice versa. It's just the way it is. Now, I had some viewers saying, well, wait a minute, didn't they buy back their own shares? Yeah, that'll drive the stock price up, but that doesn't do anything to their profits, folks. They need to actually be moving packages and freight across the country and across the world to make money. I do think we have some issues in our economy, which, by the way, are looking a little bit better this morning. David, I've been worried about the real estate market, and that's starting to move really well, especially last week. So I'm happy about that. But UPS can't be doing well and killing it on profits like this unless it's really moving freight around. The bad news is they're also going to do a lot of layoffs because they're finding a lot of freelancers to do some of their shipping. That's another story. But they can't be making profits like this without the economy doing well. I suspect the Trump economy and the big, beautiful bill is already doing things to help companies like UPS do well. And that is something we should be focusing on, not these economic reports that have absolutely no trustworthiness in my mind.
All right, we got about a minute, well, actually a little less than a minute. Segment wouldn't be complete without talking about automobiles. You say car dealerships are making more money these days, obviously. It's not just about car sales, though. So tell us what's happening here, Jake.
Yeah, have any of you taken your car in for service at a dealer lately? I mean, there are horror stories after horror stories about how small parts are costing forever. Now, some of it makes sense because, look, we have higher tech in our cars and that's more expensive. But I know of people who just had a plastic cap that had to be replaced and they charged them $2,000. This is why dealerships are making massive new profits right now. They have cornered the market on basic service. My advice to you, and advice actually to business owners out there, hey, are you a Jiffy Lube franchiser out there listening? Go and undercut these dealerships because they are really charging. That's how they're making their money on crazy service stuff and also financing. There's other reasons for it, but it's not because people are going and buying cars at larger numbers all that much. A little bit, but not much.
No, that's great advice. And don't buy an EV. Got it. Yeah, I just inserted that for you. All right, Jake, thanks so much. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you.
All right, time for Jake to take a nap. No, he never sleeps. Neither does T. Bates. He's in Denver for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
I think David just diagnosed me with insomnia. He said I never sleep. Interesting. I'll pay you. I'll send you a copay soon. All right, the applause is underway at the New York Stock Exchange, which means that the bell is going to ring here in a short order, and then the markets will be open. We'll, of course, see what things are looking like in short order. Israel mapped in New York. That's who is at the podium. The markets are now officially open, and folks, here it is. Green from top to bottom. The Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq all looking good right now. The rest of the board also in the positive. Obviously, the big story of the day is going to be what the Federal Reserve ultimately does with interest rates. The expectation is that interest rates will be cut another 0.25 percentage point, but investors will be watching that decision from the Fed and the central bank to see exactly how they decide to move forward, and that potentially could impact things. And look how quickly things change. Crude oil is now down just a little bit after having just been in the green. Well, folks, you may want to buy some gold, and if you do, you can get some free silver. I'm going to show you what you'll get here momentarily. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from the Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they're going to send you one of these. These are patriotic coins, silver rounds as they call them, that commemorate the Gadsden and American flags. Gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and the Birch Gold Group can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they'll send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. If you're current or former military, the Birch Gold Group has a special offer just for you. They're waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of satisfied customers, many of whom are RAV viewers, we really want to encourage you to diversify your savings into gold. Text the word America to the number 989898 for a free information kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchases before the end of this month. Again, text the word America to the number 989898 today. Time to take a quick break, but when we come back here on American Sunrise, a new book reveals Barack Obama was furious with Nancy Pelosi after she quickly backed Kamala Harris following Joe Biden's withdrawal in 2024. So what sources are saying sparked a heated phone call between the two Democratic powerhouses? The details are ahead after this break.